At the beginning of the story, we are shown a man named Duck, who is a wildlife photographer and also works on a show. The name of the show is Man vs., in which Duck goes alone into the jungle and teaches survival there. 2 parts of this show have already been released. People liked the show, but there were many things in it because of which big TV networks did not buy it. They are about to shoot.
At the beginning of the story, we are shown a man named Duck, who is a wildlife photographer and also works on a show. The name of the show is Man vs., in which Duck goes alone into the jungle and teaches survival there. 2 parts of this show have already been released. People like the show, but there were many things in it because of which big TV networks did not buy it. They are about to shoot the 3rd part, and if no channel buys it, then Duck and his entire team will go broke. Duck and his team are going through tough times. Therefore, Duck and his team decided to go into the forests of northern Canada, where survival is extremely difficult. At night, Duck leaves his house. His daughter had recorded a video message for him, so that when Duck is alone in the jungle, he can watch this video and feel better. Now Duck's team also arrives here with their gear. After that, they go to meet their tour guide, because that area was very dangerous, and entering it without a tour guide could be risky. There they meet Duncan, who is their tour guide and lives in that very area. These people take Duck and his team into the jungle by boat. There, Duck will have to spend 5 days alone, after which his team will come back to pick him up. Duck is given a satellite phone, so that if he gets into trouble, he can immediately contact his friends. During these 5 days, Duck has to record his survival footage. They had barely gone a little further when heavy rain started. Duncan explains to him that if he wants to stay here, he will have to face all these things. And then they leave Duck at the edge of the jungle and return. After they leave, Duck turns on his camera and starts the show right there. After this, Duck opens his bag and starts checking his supplies. His plan was to survive in this jungle for 5 days using only the items in his bag. Now he had to arrange a place to sleep, so he went to a high spot where he was going to build a shelter. He had to do all this before sunset. Therefore, he gathered some wood from a broken tree to build the shelter. But as soon as he started working, a small piece of wood pierced his nail, causing him severe pain. However, he pulled the wood piece out. The shelter was now fully ready, and there was very little time left before nightfall. Now he had to arrange a fire so he could stay safe from wild animals at night. To light the fire, he used an energy drink bottle. He rubbed the metallic part until it got hot, then positioned it in the direction of the sun, so that the sun's rays would reflect off it onto the wood. His plan worked. His fire lit up. Soon after, night fell. Duck called his companions on his satellite phone, who were having a great time at their party. Knowing this made Duck a little sad that his situation here was terrible while they were enjoying themselves. But still, Duck had to accept that no one else was there. This was his job. Somehow he slept there, warmed by the fire. But at midnight, a huge explosion occurred, waking Duck up, because he felt it, though he ignored it and went back to sleep. He thought maybe it was an earthquake. The next day when he opened his eyes, he saw something had torn through the jungle and crashed into the river, which is why the ground had shaken. Duck ran to that spot. When he arrived, he saw that all the fish in the water were dead. That meant something poisonous had fallen into the water. But this actually benefited Duck. He now had fish both for content and for food. Just then, Duck spotted a wolf. It came to the riverbank but didn't eat any fish and ran away in fear. Duck understood that the wolf must have sensed something he couldn't, meaning the fish weren't safe to eat. So he'd have to do something else. He also wanted to inform his team about this, because he didn't know what had happened to the river. He tried calling his friends, but the satellite phone wasn't working. This confirmed Duck's suspicion that a meteor must have fallen during the night, disrupting all networks. The problem now was that Duck was hungry since the previous night, so he'd have to hunt. Therefore, he set up 3 traps in one spot to catch an animal, and started recording some footage nearby. In the evening, he returned to check the traps and found 2 rabbits caught in 2 of them. But when he was picking them up, his mounted camera fell down by itself. Duck thought it might be that same wolf, so he quickly picked up his camera and left the spot immediately. Now he had to clean those rabbits for food. So he went a little away from his camp to clean the rabbits so the wolf would stay away from his camp. And he recorded all this for his audience. After finishing all this work, he again tried contacting his team, but the satellite phone was still not working. Then he checked his personal phone, which his daughter had given him. But there was no network on that also. Duck started watching his wife's video on that phone, which gave him a lot of courage. Just then, Duck again heard strange noises in the jungle. It felt as if someone was hiding and watching him. Duck was scared that maybe a pack of wolves might attack him, so he quickly ate his food so he could move on from there. He couldn't carry the second rabbit with him, so he showed his viewers a method to preserve his food. He tied it with rope and hung it from a tree so no animal could reach it. Soon after, night fell again and we saw Duck return to his camp and started playing chess alone. But again those strange noises started. He tried looking around but couldn't see anyone. Duck ignored the sounds once more. Meanwhile, we saw someone taking down his food and carrying it away. That meant it wasn't an animal. Animals don't have that much intelligence. Soon after, it started raining heavily. Duck pretended as if his shelter was protecting him from the rain, but his shelter was useless and he was completely drenched. Suddenly, he heard an animal sound, which terrified him and he started getting increasingly scared. Because of this, he couldn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, his whole body was in severe pain. Due to lack of sleep, he was having a lot of trouble. In his heart, he wanted to quit all this. But Duck knew that if he didn't do this, how would he support his home? This show was essential for him. So for himself and his family, he pushed aside his suffering and got back to work. He took his camera and went to get his breakfast, but someone had already stolen it. Seeing this, Duck panicked because he knew no animal could have done this. So he picked up the satellite phone again and tried calling his friends, but the phone was still not working. Gathering courage, Duck set up traps again. When he went to check them, he was shocked to see someone had already taken his catch from the traps. Duck noticed a strange black liquid under the trap from which light was glowing. Seeing this, he was terrified. He quickly returned to his camp. But now his satellite phone was also missing. Even more shocking was that someone had made a move on his chessboard. Seeing this, Duck became certain he wasn't alone in this jungle at all. Maybe it was one of his fans of his. Thinking this, he relaxed a bit and turned his camera back on because he needed content for the show. Before sleeping that night, he made his next chess move. The next morning, he left that spot to move forward because he needed to set up camp elsewhere. Ahead, he found a hill and built a new shelter leaning against it. There, he also lit a fire. Now he needed food, so he thought of fishing, but he didn't find a single fish in the water. So he started wandering in the jungle to find an animal. But further ahead, he was stunned. Someone had built a shelter just like his and even lit a fire using the exact same can method he had demonstrated. Duck suspected it must be one of his fans imitating him. His eyes fell on the satellite phone. Seeing this, he became even more scared. Then his eyes fell on the corpses of a rabbit and a wolf lying there. The wolf had been cleaned exactly the way Duck had shown in his videos. Duck quickly hid under a rock, but then his eyes fell on a trap built there, just like the one he had shown in his videos. This trap was much bigger, so in time Duck quickly left that place. He ran back towards his camp. When he arrived, his eyes again fell on his chessboard. Someone had again made their next move. This move was so advanced that even Duck himself couldn't have made it. With no other option, he decided to stay right there at this camp. He set up 3 cameras around his camp, so that if anyone came, it would be recorded. But as soon as he fell asleep, someone knocked down all the 3 cameras. When Duck saw this in the morning, he got scared because he wasn't safe here at all. Although no harm had come to him yet, it certainly could in the future. Duck needed to get out of here as quickly as possible because whatever this thing was, it was watching Duck's every move. Once again, Duck recorded some footage for his show. But just then, a powerful wave hit him, throwing him far into the river. Somehow he managed to reach the shore, but blood was coming out of his eyes, nose and ears because that wave had been extremely powerful. Duck wrung out his clothes, put them back on and started running. He wanted to get out of here at any cost. But while running, Duck fell into a deep pit. He was about to lose consciousness when he looked up. Someone was definitely there, watching him. After a while, his eyes opened, and his condition was very bad. His hand was injured, so he tied it with his shirt and started trying to climb out of it. He managed to get out of the pit and reach the spot where his friends had been staying. He saw their camps were still there, but the people were missing. Looking around, he spotted Teddy. He was hanging from a tree just like Duck had hung the rabbit in his video. Duck quickly took Teddy down from the tree. Teddy was still alive. Duck also needed help, so he quickly went inside the camp to try and contact someone via radio, but the radio was dead too. When Duck came out with the medical kit, he came face to face with an alien. That night, the alien had crashed through the jungle and landed on Earth. It was first trying to learn human behaviors and habits, that is why it hadn't killed Duck yet. There were also the corpses of Duck's team members, their skins peeled off. It was all extremely horrifying. As soon as the alien saw Duck, it shot out that web-like substance from its mouth again, but Duck escaped and ran away. Duck made a plan. He lured the alien behind him and ran towards the same pit he had fallen into earlier. The alien fell right into his trap. As soon as the alien fell into the pit, Duck threw many rocks on top of it, crushing the alien under it. Duck thought the alien was probably dead, so he quickly ran to save Teddy. But Teddy was already dead. Duck covered the bodies of all his companions and sat by the riverside, recording a final message for his family, in case no one came to rescue him and he didn't survive. Duck opened his daughter's message and watched it, which gave him courage again. He wanted to get out of here at any cost. So first he bandaged his wounds. Then he looked at the map inside the camp and found out that Duncan's house was 6 kilometers away. Without losing courage, Duck started moving.